just out pedalling. Last night I started, well, had to come out from a ride this weekend. Had to, there you go, that's setting the tone. Felt like I had to come out for a bike ride. Right, I've done 10 miles, not a lot this week so far. You know what, I need to stick out a good 80-90 miles at least, is what I was thinking. So last night I'm trying to plan my route. I've only got so much time available, so I'm trying to squeeze as many miles in as possible, picking out roads that are busier to get to some extra, those extra few miles in. What a ridiculous, my goals are all messed up. When I first started riding, my goal was fitness, and I used to do 10-15 miles. Then my goal was a bit more Strava, sadly Strava focused. I just wanted to, it was a way of not giving up, of I've got to put something on social media to say when I'm cycling. I did that for about a year, I think. Then Strava lost its interest to me, and then it was all about challenges to myself for miles. So it went 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 miles. Then it was 6,000, which I didn't achieve. But yeah, and I think for quite some time now, that's been what's been driving me, is this quest for miles, which is ridiculous. And only since the ride out to Wales and a couple of other rides have I thought, you know what, it's not about that. My goal needs to be about enjoying riding my bike, whether that's for a little distance or a long distance. You know, don't get me wrong, I like going out on my road bike. I mean, it is such a pleasure to get on a light bike and feel like you're flying along on a lovely day. And with the last ride I did last weekend was fantastic, about 85 miles, and I really loved it. And so my new goal, or one of my new goals, is not the miles, it's the enjoyment. And I think the only way to get enjoyment and to maintain your enjoyment is to do different things. So I always cycle the same sort of places. It's quite a big area, but I can't stand main roads. If I go south, I end up hitting main roads. It's main roads. The only place I can really go is north, and then I'm just onto quiet roads, fast roads that I really like. And there are a few other places that I know up on hills and so on, and climbs that I really like, that are good. Yeah, so I love the fast bike, but you need to mix it up a little bit, I think, to keep it interesting. So today I want to go out and do some gravelly stuff, and I'm not going to care about the miles. I'm just going to care about enjoying it and being out in the fresh air and exploring. So I've left it up to Garmin for some of this route, which hasn't gone well in the past, but I'm going to try that. So goals, really important. So yeah, I do have a goal of distance. I'd like to get just 5,000 miles this year, 5,250 or 5,200, so I get 100 miles a week. But I'd like to do that, but you know what, that is not going to be the driving factor. My top goal is going to be enjoying the bike riding, and if that means less miles but more fun, then that's what I'm going to do. And that's going to include my mountain bike as well from now on. I want to get that mountain bike out this summer, and that's going to get punished. Yeah, but I got other goals as well, and I'll come on to those in a second. But first of all, I've got a hell of a section of gravel track to go on. It goes on for about 4 or 5 miles all the way down here. This route's about 70 miles. It goes as much of the gravel areas I can find around here, then up onto the Quantocks, forest track, trails, yada yada, down lanes, through Bridgewater, through various back roads, through Bridgewater, wherever Garmin takes me, and then back home via some more gravel up over there that cuts in across, that I noticed from the air one day, and then back home. But I've got a hard hard time back at home. Right then, let's get it. So yeah, goals need to be a great way of keeping yourself riding. Whether that's do your first 4 teeth, that used to be one of my goals. Yeah, do my first 4 teeth, which is a big deal when I first did it, because I wasn't particularly good at riding a bike. Not that I am particularly now, but I couldn't go very far and I knew I was going to struggle, but I didn't. Did a little bit of reading up and I was more than happy in the end. But so important to have goals, but make sure you got the right goals, because I don't think I have had the right goals recently. Focusing too much on one thing and forgetting the reason that I like riding a bike. When I was a kid, I used to be big into BMX, freestyle BMX, and I couldn't get off my bike. And there's a very good reason for it, and that's because I enjoyed it so much. So goals, right. And a good way to make sure you do your goals is to tell people. Tell people you're going to do it. Tell at least 3 people, let's say. I've read that recently. I think that was a book I read, Sean Conway's book, which is Cycling Big Miles, something like that. I'll stick it up on the screen. But yeah, loads of little good quotes in there, but a really inspiring book in that he does 150 to 200 miles a day while he's doing his long distance rides, which isn't too far off what I think I'm going to be able to do. 120, 130, 150 maybe, day in, day out. I think I could handle that. But it's inspiring to see that he goes through all the same saddle sores, salt, scrapes in the wrong places, all the usual sort of stuff. So it's very good. Oh, there's a balloon out already. That's quite cool. Hilly place to be flying a balloon. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, well, what was I talking about? I do this quite often. I wander off. I think it's age. Yeah, so have your goals. So tell someone. It's a great way of doing it. So I've got 3 goals which I'm going to tell you about, so that it forces me to go out and do it. I'm really not doing this gravel any justice at the moment. I'll stop. Yeah, so 3 goals. No, 5 goals. 5,000 miles. Not that bothered by that one now. Enjoy my riding. Easy one, subjective. The next one is going to be a long distance ride of some sort. Now this isn't going to be for fun, this is going to be for a challenge, but I want to do at least 400 kilometers, if not 500, if not 24 hours ride. I was going to do that out to London and back, which was going to be about 530 kilometers, whatever that is in miles, quite a lot, 300 and something. So that's going to be quite a challenge. It was relatively flat, but it was down canals, which meant it was going to be slow, but I didn't want to go on the traffic. I'm no fan of big cities and I'm no fan of traffic. So down the canal, pretty much all the way into London, which was fairly good. And it was along a train line, and the great thing about that was that if I broke down, I could just jump on a train. If I broke down, physically broke down, which is more likely, then I would jump on a train, 2 balloons up, then I'll jump on a train and straight back home again. However, what I might just do is go out to my local area, and I've got a circuit of about 25, it's about 20 miles. I'm just going to do a circuit of that. I'm going to take some food out in the car, I'm going to park the car up, and I'm just going to spend the day riding my bike on a lovely day and through the night. See if I can do 24 hours. I don't know, I've got a few ideas, but I'm going to do that in August. That's number 1. That is a challenge. That's going to need a little bit of planning, and nutrition will be everything. So that's just to do something different. Try and do something different to keep me interested. The next one I'm going to do is a backpacking adventure, another little mini adventure, 3 days and maybe 3 nights as well, 2 or 3 nights up into Wales. But this time I'm going to cycle. I'm going to drive my bike up to my dad's, park it there, and then go out and just enjoy riding. Not go for 100 miles or 120 miles, whatever. I would have loaded up bike, but go for 80-90 miles, do lots of stops, explore villages, explore different trails, tracks, and enjoy the riding for 3 days. So that is challenge number 2. I'm not going to plan that too much because I want that to be a bit more of an adventure. I am going to stick a route in, but I'm not going to go Google Earth things, street viewing and all that sort of stuff. I'm just going to plan my way around it in my head. That is that one. That'll be in August as well. And then finally, my big challenge for the year, my big goal for the year, because it's not about it all about challenges, and it's a mix of challenge and adventure, this one, and that is going to be out into Spain and France, which I think I've said before. Get the ferry down on the 6th of October, I'm thinking. Depends on work. I'm going to try and fiddle it around work, but hopefully the 6th of October, ferry down to Santander. Then I've got a get off the ferry on the Monday at lunchtime, and then I've got a 73-mile ride, quite a hilly ride, so I'm not, I'll be taking my time with it, to a place called Bilbao. I'm going to stay in a hotel for the night. I've done a lot of planning on this, and I planned on Garmin Base Camp, and now I've transferred it over to Garmin Connect because it's a little bit easier in many ways. But the whole route I planned in Base Camp. I've got all the great thing about France is that they campsites all over the place down the coastline, so I can get camping quite easy. So anyway, up to Bilbao, night in a hotel there, just to help get myself established. Next day, about 90 miles, a reasonable amount of climbing again, through into France. Again, I'm going to stay in a hotel, but then I had to stay in this hotel because of the other days. I've basically got 3 days worth of power, 3/4 days worth of power that I'll have with me, so I'll need to, and I'm going to want to have a proper shower and have a proper sleep at some stage. So those 2 nights, and then I'm into, I think it's about 800, 750, the whole thing's about 850 miles, I forget now, all at the coastline. And anyway, so 2 nights hotels, then bike packing, wild camping. Don't know whether to take my bivvy or my tent yet, and yeah, then another hotel, and then carry on up. And the whole thing is 8 days. The first day is only half a day, the last day is only 15 miles, but that gives me some flex at the other end for the ferry, and I'm then into the ferry and home. So that's taken me quite a lot of time to plan that, a lot of details to try and work out what kit I'm taking, etc. The route, I've done a lot of time on the route and many hours looking at the route and the different options there, and where I'm going to stay for the night, and what if options. What if I don't make that many miles? Are there any options early or late? So really worth putting the planning in for that, because I want to enjoy the riding my bike. Yeah, so there we go. So they're my goals, and we'll see how they go. But it's better to have goals and dreams. Dreams means you want to do it. Goals is you're going to do it. So choose yourself some goals. Anyway, I'm gonna go out and enjoy my MASON Bokeh and start smashing this gravel a little bit better. Taking it too easy at the moment. Yapping. So yeah, bit of off-road takes you, it's not just the off-road bit that's all new and interesting, it's everywhere else you go, all these other little roads that I haven't seen. And here we are in North Curry. This place is called North Curry, which is bloody gorgeous. Me and the missus are looking to move here. It's not too far away. It's just a lovely village. Really pretty. Anyway, I've just found a new way to get to it. Off-road. Amazing. Definitely want to buy a house here now. Awesome. I said earlier about dreams and goals. I think I was completely wrong there actually. You've got to clearly have your dreams. Listen to me, life coach. You've got to have your dreams, but and even if they're really far-fetched, but dreams are nothing without goals. So if my dream is to win the TCR, the Transcontinental Bike Race, I'm going to need some goals for that. Another trail, always worth remembering. Those are the trails I'll look them up later. But yeah, big bike races coming up. You've got the Transcontinental Bike Race, TCR, what number will it be? 7, 8? Something like that. That's coming up. That's my top one for the year. There's obviously the Tour de France. I got very little interest in that side of riding. I've tried, I just can't get into it in the slightest. I mean, it's fun to watch sometimes, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it doesn't float my boat as much. Trouble is, all the long distance rides aren't really, you can't really watch those on the TV. So I'd love to watch the Trans Am. So there is a film called Inspire to Ride, which you get online, which is all about the Trans American Bike Race. You have to pay for it, but that's where Mike Hall won it. But the Trans Am has happened quite recently. A guy called Abdullah, I'll stick his name up. In fact, I'll stick his name up there. He's an absolute monster. He hammered the rest of the field. I'm amazed at how fast some of these people go. But anyway, so he won that. And what was the other one? Tour Divide. Yeah, amazing ride from north to south. Well, you can go southbound or northbound, but southbound is the usual. Two people I've been watching, Josh Ibbott and Lael Wilcox. Lael scratched, unofficially scratched. I think she's carrying on riding it, but Josh came about 10th, something like that, on his Mason ISO. Brilliant. So again, I wish I could watch it, but all I can do is dot watch, which isn't good enough. Anyway, I've done nothing but talk, so I better get going. Ooh, wipe out. 2 hands. You need 2 hands on a gravel bike. Not for sale. Standing straw. Oh, I think the straw is for sale. Not the field? Maybe just a straw. That's quite a clever idea. Unless someone buys it. And then it just goes off. Anyway. Yeah, this bike. So, the first time I put this bike onto YouTube, I just bought it. That was quite a while ago. I forget how long ago now, and in fact it was on exactly the same, almost the same sort of ride, certainly up this lane, up to the top of the Quantocks. But I've done probably 2,000 miles on it now, not far off 2,000 miles, just under I think, and I've got very little negatives to say about it. I think I've probably said it before. it's a great bike. It's a really good bike, but I haven't got much to compare it to. So I've ridden a Diverge for a little bit, which was much more relaxed and certainly more comfortable. And riding with Chris, I certainly noticed the comfort up here. He was going downhill much faster than I was. Just too painful for me. But yeah, what damage you do to your bike as well when you're doing that. Anything I would change? I would like to have an Ultegra RX down on here with a clutch system in it, which is quite a new one, just to stop a little bit of chain slap. I do wish this was down a little bit more, but it's relatively you know, it's a big gap there, so it's not too much of a problem really. And I don't really get anything on here, any muck or anything. So actually, I may not even need the RX in there, but yeah, there's a reasonable gap there. 34 cassette, I think, for me personally around here is a must. I wish they'd put a bit of protection, Mason put a bit of protection on stuff, so I've had to put helicopter tape on myself all over the place, which is really worth doing. As soon as you get a new bike, I'll get your helicopter tape on, which I've said many times before. I wish I'd gone for the wider, more flared bars. Yeah, I wish I'd gone for the more flared bars. So these are about 7 degrees of flare. Just when I was bike packing with the bags, there wasn't enough gap in there, and I found it a little bit tricky with a bag in there, getting hand down onto the drops. So I wish I'd gone for a bit more flare. The wheels have been great. I've got a mix of the wheels, so I've got the normal 4 Seasons on the front, and I've got the Super Dura on the back. So it just means a few more spokes. It's the same rims and spokes and everything. Just a higher number of spokes on the back. The wheels are great. These are certainly more comfortable than the carbon version of the Hunts. But if on the road, those carbon ones feel a lot nicer, even with the same size tyre on. Those carbons are a lot nicer. So, but yeah, they're just lighter. That's all they are. These I think are more comfortable though. But the bike is great. I would like a little bit more of a relaxed geometry. It's not a really racy geometry, certainly not. It's not aggressive geometry. But for a long distance bike, I would like a more relaxed geometry. If you look at the bike, the bike that Sean Conway rode, what's it called, the Stanforth Conway, that's got a really relaxed position. I'm very interested now in getting a steel bike. I'm going to probably keep this one and turn it into a one by with some 650Bs on, just for exactly this sort of ride that I'm going to do now. But I would like to get something like the Stanforth Conway, which is a very nice bike, a steel bike, maybe titanium, but I'm not too hard over on titanium. I just want a bike that I can pack everything up with, and this is more than adequate. I'll be honest, but something different. I just want to try a steel bike and to see the comfort difference, but not yet. I'm enjoying this one enough. Anything else I would change? I did change the seat post, which I said before. Got one of these Ergon, not Ergo, as I said before, which is very comfy. I'm still not happy with this saddle. I used to be really comfortable, but now I'm just having problems with it. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. There you go. Yeah, good bike. Now I have moaned before about the disc down here. Now I moaned and said the disc, when you put it in, it catches on the frame, on the inside of the frame, and it does, and it catches, and I've had to put in, I've got an old inner tube and I've taped that around to try and protect the frame when I put the wheels in. Every bloody time I put these wheels in, that catches. I've got to be really careful. But now I've just worked out why. When I bought the bike, they sold it with 160mm disc on the front and a 140 on the back, and I said, well, I want a 160 on the back, and they came back with well, Shimano recommend say a 140 is absolutely fine. But now I know, because they've been putting 140s on the back here, so they've never noticed that catching, with the 160 catching onto the frame and causing that damage. That'll be why. So yeah, if you get a 140mm disc, you probably won't get that problem. But if you're going to put a 160 on the back, yeah, you will get that catching. It's still worth it. I'm still glad I put it on. Anyway, this must be one of my favourite routes. It's been amazing to get here. It would normally be roads and all sorts, but all I've done is cross over. I've had a main road for about 200 metres and cross over the motorway. That's it. It's been a really, really good route. So it took about an hour's planning, but I'm so glad I put in that little bit of extra effort. Yeah, so glad I put in that effort into coming up with a plan. Now I've got quite a good bit of local knowledge around here, so that helped out. But yeah, worth it. And I really am dragging arse. I've got to get going. There's a cafe at the top. I might have to forego the cafe, but then I'm into Quantocks and some forestry sort of tracks and trails, and I can't wait. And then I'm just going to shoot back. Now Garmin's are brilliant, and I reckon they're the best head unit you can get if you ignore reliability. Although this Garmin with new software, with new firmware, has been really reliable recently. For the last 3 or 4 months, no snags. But I'm just looking for the enjoyment. I can't find it. There must be an enjoyment number here that tells me how much fun I'm having. No, nothing. Yeah, don't get a slave to your head unit. I think I have been a little bit too much of a slave to my head unit and miles. But I do need to be a slave to my watch. There are nice houses all over this place. New Mason out, of course. MASON BOKEH rather, BOKEH 2, which looks really nice. Not far different than this, I'll be honest. But I like the colour, the green. Not everyone's taste, I'm sure. But looks nice. Forks. The biggest thing for me is the forks. To have, yeah, those you can put bags onto forks. I like that idea a lot, particularly if you're doing some heavy long range stuff, winter. Then in the winter you're going to need to carry more gear, and I plan to do a few rides through the winter, so I would like something with those the ability to mount bags on the forks. It looks nice. I like the green. Sometimes I wish I'd gone for the orange or the grey. Not sure I like the black too much. The black with the tan wall looks nice. Didn't used to be into that sort of thing, but yeah, I quite like that. But I wish I'd gone for one of the other colours now. No bother. Love the bike still. It's about a 1,000-foot climb. 1,200 I think, right when I get to the top. But there's a cafe right near the top, so I reckon I'll be doing that after this climb, which gets steeper into double digits in a minute. And then, yeah, maybe bacon butty, and then, which I love. And then up we go for some real good fun. So looking forward to it. Hopefully I can film some of it. My battery hasn't run out. Anyway, speak to you later. I should stop filming and focus on riding. But yeah, this thing I got here, whoa, almost as embarrassing as the bum bag I once got caught wearing out in Croatia when I posted a photograph. That's my fault. Yeah, this is a headband. Okay, well, I wear it because I can't stand salt sweat dripping into my eyes. and without it, right there, I'd have spent most of that climb wiping salt out of my eyes. But these are brilliant. Now, admittedly, I did something I don't like doing, which is buy something from China, because it's probably made in some sweatshop which doesn't look after its employees, and you then have to stick it on a boat and sell it halfway around the world. But I couldn't find it anywhere else, so I did admittedly buy them from there, but I got a whole load of them relatively cheap. So, and these are quite thick. I've had them before. These actually are quite thick, so they're much better, and they really do soak up all the sweat. You get back at the end of the ride, chuck it in the wash, and I've got about 6 of them. So, but they work amazingly. I don't think they do much for your own body's cooling, because you're going to cool quite a lot from your forehead. But it's a price that I'm more than happy to pay, if I'm really honest. There, so there. That was not good. Click, click. What the hell was that? Was that my bars? I feel I put too much weight on my bars and they just clicked through a couple of times. Twisted forward on here. Yeah, they have. That's a millimetre, 2 millimetre movement. That's not good. It is gorgeous out here, but I nearly totaled myself back there, racing down a trail. Didn't see a big dip. What I should have done is bunny hop over it. I don't know why I didn't. I just rode straight into it. My hands were on the hoods, so I rolled over the bar, rolled forward. Not tight enough, clearly. I don't know. Too much weight on it. Bar rolled forward and. Yeah, I like to stop, lost the bottle, etc. Yeah, these bikes are. Which way am I going? Good, I'm going that way. These bikes are great. What I like though is that I wouldn't have liked cycling on my mountain bike out to here. I would have had to put it on the car and drive. And that would have been a 40-minute drive. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to go out on my bike in this great weather. So the great thing is I had a fantastic ride out to here. Gone around the trails, not as fast, as furious as I like to, but you know, I really enjoyed it. I just love, you know, there's a massive stag that was back there, stood on, you know, I wish I had the camera running for that. Anyway, carrying on down now. I have to start heading home. I've got about 45 minutes down the trail, down this way. Hopefully this will be a little bit better. The Forestry Commission has trashed some of those trails up there. There are quite a few mountain bikers. There's some amazing, crazy looking downhill sections. I'm not a downhill mountain biker, so I wouldn't really know, but they look great fun, and everyone seems to be having fun up there anyway. Yeah, 45 minutes back, and then along home with a little bit of gravel on the way home. But on the fun scale, this has been up here compared to just going out and getting hot on the roads and get, like some people do, go out and go on the A roads and just sit in a pack, what's it called, peloton, sitting in a peloton doing 30 miles an hour, whatever they do, 25 miles an hour, all packed in, head down, boom, 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 boom. The traffic going, no, not interested. Not interested. This is so much nicer. Not as physically demanding, but who cares? I'm nearly 50. Okay, that's the ride just about complete. So that was straight off the Quantocks. I left it to Garmin. Actually, it gave me a great cycle route through Bridgewater, no traffic, through the canals, pathways. Quite exhausted now. Temperature is 32, and little ants bite my bloody leg. 32, and yeah, that's too hot for me. I've had a headache for the last hour and a half. So I haven't made any videos. I've just been head down cycling. Yeah, I think if it goes over 20, I'm at risk. Over 25, and I need to get off the bike really. It's just a little bit too hot. So yeah, not as much fun coming home, just because of the headache really, but well worth the ride. Much nicer than the ride out that I was going to plan on the roads. But yeah, I've had enough now. I've got an hour to get home, or my life is hell. So on I go. Okay, that's the ride done. Lessons I take away from that are hydration. Didn't hydrate properly at the start of the ride. I was sweating. Humidity was quite low, so I was sweating, and the sweat was just evaporating off. I was losing a lot of water, I think, at the start of the ride. I wasn't hydrating early enough, and then could never caught it up towards the end. Even though I drank 6 bottles, I should have been starting that drinking a lot earlier. Anyway, paid for that. Lesson learned. The bikes. The bike I took was obviously the middle of the range bike, so there's no way in the world you could do that bike ride on that road bike. But it would have been great fun getting there and getting home. The mountain bike, great fun when you're up there. This bike, however, allows you to do both those things. If you're lucky and you live right into the mountains, or you live right near some great gravel trails or some amazing roads, then that's great. But if you want to go out and do some off-road stuff, but it's a bit of a way to get there, like I had about 25 miles to get there, and these gravel bikes are a great way to get out, and at least get out around the trail, even if you can't go fast. Because anything with hard rocks or tree roots or anything like that, I really came away from that ride thinking this bike was not fit for purpose, but this bike is fit for hard packed gravel, that sort of thing. But you really do need the front suspension if you can do anything with any sort of where you need that. You need to be able to take up that vibration. Okay, and finally, having dreams is a great thing, but to get those dreams, the dreams are nothing really without a stepping stone of goals in order to get there. So goals are a great way for a bike, on a bike to get into cycling, whether that is doing your first 40 or first 100k or 5,000 miles in a year, or racing the transatlantic race, bike race, whatever it is you want to get to. Goals are a really good way of doing it. So set those goals at the beginning of the season, whether it's just a handful of goals, something that is realistic, that ideally is measurable, that you tell other people about, and that are the right sort of goals for you. Anyway, yeah, so I hope you've got your goals, I hope you're achieving them. If not, then maybe not the right goals for you. Maybe it needs to be a bit more realistic. But anyway, I hope this video has been something to watch. And there's nothing on telly, so you might as well. Anyway, bye for now.